Hey, welcome! Reward-based riding on the menu. I am Angelica, and today we are talking riding our horses from the ground and what positions we can use to do this from. I'm very passionate about groundwork, and it is something I do every day with my horses in some context. I think, yeah, we will talk about the dressage aspect of things now, but for me, that is everyday life is the aspect of dressage is ever present. When we are loading our horses, when we do husbandry, when we are out on trail rides, or when we actually work on the riding arena with some dressage goals. So for me, helping our horse become better balanced, that is what it's all about, and to move more more economically, ergonomically, whatever you want to choose to explain that in the paddock with their friends. That's an important goal, as well as, of course, to evolve them emotionally. Physical balance and emotional balance often go hand in hand. And I think the different positions here we see is very helpful for balancing those two aspects in our training. So with this said, just a quick overview here. The IC on the top right, the beautiful IC on the top right, that's the front position. I'm gonna refer to the positions from where the rider is placed in relation to her horse. That's how I see it, and why. That's mainly because I educate, if I can, I educate all horses from Liberty first, so as to give them a clear picture of the movement that I want us to do, and really to have the direction of the movement already set in the horse's mind, so it goes super easy to transfer that movement when I do want to sit on my horses. And I mean, also some of my students don't even have the goal of putting reins on in their work, so it makes sense from that sense too. But I do want reins, and usually these positions are referred to from what tack we have on. You see here the short reins and the long reins are present here, and that's commonly how we speak about them. But returning to front position, and this is the system, and this goes for all the positions. My horse's shoulders, I want to represent them with my shoulders, and vice versa. That's a little bit of a mirror position, no matter what I'm placed. How I direct my shoulders makes sense to my horses. So this is the a thing to think about when we're gonna watch the videos. So front position, shoulder position. If we need to help the horse with shoulder balance, to fall on the inside or on the outside, that's a pretty good position. I do think the front position is a little bit better, but it's still a very good position. Middle position, where we can help the horse with the bend, and the hind end position, where we can engage, activate, or influence the hind leg in any way, shape, or form. That's the four categories that we will have a look at. So let's change slide and pause that. Yeah, this is the front position. That's the first one. That's the very much where I start once the first education is done. I love working from the front position, and it brings so much body awareness to our horses and to us. It's not by any stretch easy in the beginning to walk backwards while also focusing on your horse's movement, reading your horse, etc., etc. But once that is done, we do get a lot of information from this position, and we can help the horse very much with the vertical balance. I do start with an aligned horse. I want to be placed in the midline of the horse, but after that, I'm trying to use my placement as like an indicator. We're going this way, so you will see here I'm teaching my horse Ellen the first steps of half pass, moving diagonally over while having a bend to the same side. So have a look at that. She's also points to notice. I ask her to put her head in my hand. This is my cavesson target that I'm using just to help her with the direction and help her with flexion and bend in the pole. It's not meant to show a perfect movement. It's a work as always, but she was a very, very crooked horse, and this was a really good exercise to help her with her shoulder balance. So let's maybe start coming here in the left bend. There's two targets going on here. I have one for the hind legs as well. Switching the bend. Yeah, there we get a little bit of neck release. But just gently, the horse is the one doing the touching here. And just use it as a direction. I do all the side movements from this position, and I think it's great to line up with future riding. I educate my horses here first. I can have a rider either on the saddle or from the ground working with my horses while I sit in the saddle. That's a very, very pedagogical position and helps so much with the initial balance before we want to engage the hind end. I mean, we have to straighten the front end a little bit. So front position, very, very useful. If we have a look at the next position here, that's the shoulder position. And we're actually trying to teach the same movement here. Yeah, here in this context, we are working more with installing the outside rein. We didn't fully get the direction right, so I'm using the mat as a target. He knows that, and I know that he will try to walk towards the mat, so I can have a little bit of a help with the direction and just like slowly do a little bit of a cue transfer with my outside rein to get the outside shoulder to follow this movement. But that's just to show that, of course, we can work with the same movements wherever. That's not the idea. But this is a very nice way of also working with shoulder balance on a different direction, more towards the side. I mean, usually this is the work on the short reins, which you see here on the picture above. Boye cantering a little bit, and I'm walking alongside his shoulder. It's really good for, I mean, on this side he will fall in. I know that already, so I'm trying to help him a little bit while I like preventing that a little bit, like can we instead move over here. So a good position for helping our horses out very much. Even if I start with the other one, this is of course, I mean, a daily position for most of us where we lead our horses, and where we, you know, the daily handling maybe goes on from this position. But shoulder position, yeah. Then a very, very, very good one for increasing the bend and the chest rotation in the horse. Well, it's short clip because I'm trying to be a little bit brief, of course. But if you have a look at this rider's shoulders, I'm not sure if that is heard on the video, but I'm speaking to her, asking her to do a movement like this. If you narrow it down and have a look at what her horse does when she just puts her left shoulder a little bit backward and the right a little bit forward, and her horse is actually answering very nuanced to that. Here, like, there we that's great. I hope you catch that up. It's just these kind of small nuances that we can help our horses with. Usually we launch from this position if we're in a more traditional setup and they are on the road to have a bit more distance to the horse later on, but we are as always placed where we need to be placed. So as of now, she's closer to the horse. I love to switch from the front position and the middle position, because the front position, okay, I can align up with my horse, feel the temperature of the day. Are we falling on this shoulder? Maybe we need a little bit more bend, so I can easily switch from front position to middle position. I love that. I think they go very, 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 very well together. Sorry about my English. It's also the picture above there with Nayag. And we're working on the neck rope. I love it to install also some indirect reins from this position. And the shoulder position, yes, of course. And here, exercise again, the half pass in a teaching mode here, of course. I have long reins on and I am placed on the side of the outside hind leg. That's just here in the video. Of course we can be placed alongside the inside hind leg as well if that's what we want to highlight. Here I want to highlight engagement, future engagement of the outside hind leg. He has to bend to the left, so now he steps a little bit more under the hind leg, starts to lead a little bit, but that's a little bit telling me, yeah, that's what I want at this moment, and we fix the rest later. So hind position, of course I can also walk a little bit more to the middle from here, but somewhere around the hind leg is a position for the more educated horse, at least in my book, where I want to have a little bit more engagement later on when everything is in place and the horse like gets what are we doing here. Then of course we can mix it up. This is not the best representation of this, but this is what I found the most fast, I think. So this is Ellen. I'm very far behind first, doing a bit of long reining. Then when we're the volte, I'm trying to increase the bend by stepping forward to the middle position. So yeah, it just goes to show that when the horse is educated, we can of course shift very easily from the different position. Yes, horses often picks up on this very, very well. I think it's education. When I'm saying, yeah, when the horse is educated, I also include when the horse and the human is educated, because a lot of the groundwork is about educating us. And it's, of course, our responsibility to educate ourselves so we can match our horse's level of sensitivity. So yeah, that's it's super fun to work, to start to mix it up a little bit. Just a short end note here. I do work everything that I teach in movement. I teach in halt first and work a little bit interchangeably with it. So just goes, just want to show that of course we can work with the front position, with the shoulder position, with the middle position, with the hind end position as well from the gait halt. I consider halt to be a gait that is very fun to work with. Teach a lot of body awareness. Here you see tiny young horse, tiny. He had a very easy thing to shortening himself up and just trying to lengthen everything about his top line there, and get a little bit later on. It's a little bit low maybe, but for him in that moment worked well. But just an example, of course, the same here. Hind end position in halt. I'm teaching Koppar here the future ins to school halt. I'm teaching him to target my, whatever hand that is, my hand, just to help him. He had a really, really hard time sitting and to engage his hocks and to have some angles in his hind leg. He had a weak patella. He had a lot of physical issues going on and needed to train very regularly to keep healthy, like most of us. But this was a super good tool to teach him in halt, because the halt is very slow and he could just lean a little bit in, and I could shift my touch point a little bit so he could gradually sit a little bit. But very good exercise for this horse. And I mean, maybe points to note that not all exercises suit every horse, but this is just meant to show an example how very varied our work from the ground can be. And we are going to return to the subject a lot because I love it. So consider it to be like an overview. If you have questions, let me know. Thanks for watching, and yeah, see you soon.